My name's Freya and I'm from Worcestershire. For me, running and fundraising have always gone hand in hand. I started running when I was 16 and it was out of my own difficulties in life at that time. The first thing I did was I raised money for the Red Cross, and from there I ran for MOAS, and then I did a 10 marathons by 25 challenge for the Samaritans. And then in 2022, I just had this feeling, I think this is the year where I scale it up. The Human Disco Ball campaign was me running 2,500 kilometres, including a 200-kilometre non-stop run over 43 hours, dressed as a disco ball to raise money for bail for immigration detainees. Everything they do is to make sure that people have humane treatment while they're navigating immigration in the UK. The target was 120,000. I ran Manchester Marathon in the costume, I ran the Great Half, I ran Hackney Half. People love it everywhere I go when I wear it. My involvement with the Refugee Run Club all came off the back of the Human Disco Ball campaign. The Refugee Run Club is like any other run club, but the difference here is that every member is currently living in temporary home office accommodation. There's now 6 of us as trustees. We incorporated last year, and we have hubs in Leeds, we have hubs in Crystal Palace, in Kingston, Birmingham, Coventry. My friend Hamza joined me on the 200-kilometre run. So that was running from Clifton Suspension Bridge in Bristol to Brookhouse Detention Centre. And we actually had some of the other runners from Coventry and Birmingham come all the way down to run 25 kilometres of it with me. There have been so many opportunities off the back of the run that we've extended the Human Disco Ball campaign, and it's allowed us to do podcast work and media work. Later this year, we have our documentary Free Movement coming out, and we're also working on a book proposal. I've been running for 12, nearly 13 years, and it was the thing that saved my life when I'd wanted my life to end. I'd tried to end my life, and to have this one thing turn my life around and then start to turn other people's lives around too, I don't think there's any way I could quit that if I tried.
My name is Sam Perkins and I'm from a village called Eastleigh. Prior to my MND diagnosis, my main pastime was triathlon and would generally throw myself into any games I could.
Sam is the most outgoing, best friend you could possibly have. He always has time for absolutely everybody that he cares about, and just one of the best people you could ever wish to have in your life.
I was diagnosed on the 6th of March 2019. I was 37. Being diagnosed with MND is devastating. I felt utterly heartbroken. In the immediate aftermath of my diagnosis, my focus was to be as strong as possible for those around me. It wasn't long though before my focus changed to making a difference. My wife and I set up Stand Against MND at the end of 2019.
Sam's fundraising always amazes me, and there's always something bigger, there's always something better.
London Marathon Day of 2023 was one of the most difficult days I've ever experienced. Everything was going well until just after halfway my wheelchair suffered a puncture. We were forced to abandon and I thought my London Marathon dream was over. The 2024 attempt was all about finishing. I'd had so much deterioration of my mouth muscles that the biggest worry was how I could communicate with the team. How could I let them know if something was wrong? Walkie-talkies were the answer, and we thought it would be sensible to take a spare wheel. Their physical effort has enabled me to fulfill dreams that I thought had been taken from me forever. They provided the limbs and the lungs I needed when I could no longer rely on my own. As of June 2024, Stand Against MND has raised over £260,000. I'm just a normal man with a horrible disease doing some eccentric things to try and get some attention. that people want to join me on that journey is marvelous.
I'm Jane Bressington and I'm Bristol born and bred. Eve was beautiful, kind, caring. She was just the perfect daughter. Eve was diagnosed with a paediatric wild-type GIST. GIST means gastrointestinal stromal tumour. It was just as she was approaching her 16th birthday. It's a rare cancer, but in children it's classified as ultra rare. And we went to see this top specialist at the Royal Marsden, and unfortunately all he could say to us was that sadly there was no treatment for Eve, there was no cure, and that nobody, as far as he was aware, was doing any research into that area. Eve died in March 2018 when she was 23. The Paul's GIST initiative is setting up the infrastructure and working to find improved treatments and a cure. The clinic is a very significant part of that initiative. So the funds that we have raised are used to support families and patients to attend the clinic, but also that the funds that are raised will fund research. I was going out on bagpacks, anything really that would raise funds. And then along the way, because I set up a JustGiving page, people in the wider community also started to make donations. Over the 14 years, it's in excess of £500,000 that's been raised specifically for Paul's GIST. Further on down the line in history, if somebody gets diagnosed with it, then they'll say, we're going to put you on some pretty awful treatments for 2 years, but you stand like a 90% chance of cure. That's what I want for GIST. I want it to be that they can cure it. And I'm not the sort of person that was going to sit by and let my daughter have nobody doing anything.